This episode of Tech News Day is sponsored by HelloFresh and by Mint Mobile.
Now, we criticize Elon Musk a lot on this show for a lot of different reasons, all valid. Basically, he's the quintessential out-of-touch, exorbitantly rich asshole. And on top of that, and unlike most other exorbitantly rich assholes who don't have a pathological need to be loved and seen as good by the public, Elon seems embarrassingly obsessed with being perceived as cool by strangers on the internet, which is kind of lame. And he's actually, he is somewhat successful at that. He's got a whole army of simps, but it's just never enough.
Yeah.
It'll never be enough. And, he also just straight up lies all the time about his future products, to the point where there's no shortage of articles and even dedicated blogs just listing off all the things that Elon has promised that were total bullshit in the end.
It's like the Google graveyard for things that don't even exist yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, aside from all of that, at least the products that his companies make, those are good, right? I mean, SpaceX definitely isn't colonizing Mars anytime soon. And anyone who thinks they are is a dumb rube. But at least their rockets can land themselves and be reused. It is impressive.
Nice.
With Tesla ignoring all the dangerous overpromising with autopilot, at least they're good, well-built American cars with great quality control, right? Well, maybe not so much. Most people who buy a Tesla are perfectly happy with their purchase, but it does seem like quality control might be more of an issue for Tesla than other car companies.
Yeah, and
baby steps. So
there isn't really hard data to back this up, and I don't know if it's even possible, but at least anecdotally, it seems like Tesla owners find a lot more issues with their new cars than your average car buyer. A while back, someone on GitHub compiled a kind of insanely long inspection checklist for Tesla owners to go over upon receiving their brand new Model Y. And while it almost seems like anti-Tesla propaganda, this list is too long. There's too many things that can go wrong. It's actually entirely sourced from the Tesla Model Y subreddit. In other words, this is all stuff that Tesla fans have reported finding in their brand new $65,000 dream cars.
Yeah, and this is two things. One, I mean, it is seen to be a vehicle or a set of vehicles that does have quality control issues. The other point being specifically with the Plaid or the X, things that are well above that price range. People are going to not want the car to have certain issues with it. But the other thing too is it's with these crowdsourced lists, it's people are actually now looking for things in their newly delivered cars that they would have never ever assumed were problems at the dealership buying a Chevy or a Ford or a Dodge or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of a bunch of things, but it is funny that of all the car companies to have the fans be so aggro about quality control.
I fucking love my Tesla, which I had to do an 100-point inspection on myself when I got it to make sure they didn't fuck anything up in quality control, which they are known to do, and I love them.
Yeah, receiving your Tesla, it's much like going to the rental counter at the airport. You gotta take pictures. You gotta prove that you aren't lying.
Kick the tires.
The tire falls off. But yeah, items on the checklist range from relatively minor issues like scratches and certain electronic functions not working to more serious build issues like poor panel alignment, all the way up to kind of alarming shit like making sure your VIN number is correct, making sure all 4 hubcaps are present and properly attached, checking the undercarriage for missing screws, and making sure all the doors actually open. Some of the childless millennials out there, they might not test the rear doors ever in their entire lives.
And Elon Musk is depending on that.
Yeah, again, these are all things that have happened. And this list is presented as basically, hello, fellow Tesla fan. Congratulations on purchasing the greatest car you'll ever own. Just please do this 100-point inspection within the 24-hour return period. And look, this should be a thing for any new car or used car or whatever that anyone buys.
It should.
We've been just kind of free riding it for way too long.
I mean, for $65,000, you would expect all of these things to have been checked and double checked, I think. I mean, I've never owned a car even close to costing that much, and I buy Japanese only. I've only ever driven Japanese. I'm
a Ford man myself.
I've driven budget economy Japanese sedans.
He's a little bit rock and roll. I'm a little bit country.
And I mean, the amount of I've never had rattles. I've never had shit falling off. It's
well, in most states there are laws in place for where if something like that happens, and there's reasons why laws like that are in place because it has happened before and continues to happen. But yeah, it is just very funny that specifically the people that simp for this guy are like, you know what? by the way, I'm having a problem here. You can come out and fix it.
Hello, at Elon Musk. So my car caught on fire the other day. Still my favorite car I've ever owned.
Love it.
Could you maybe look into this?
Yeah.
I love you.
But yeah.
So yeah, this kind of thing, it's not unusual amongst Tesla diehards, that special breed of Tesla driver who, it's a lifestyle for them. On social media, you can often find them complaining about various issues like the ones on that list, while continuing to praise Tesla and Elon Musk and insisting that it's still the best car they've ever owned. Okay, they see themselves as being on the cutting edge, and I guess kind of like beta testing. So, you know, they accept that there are surprises that come with that. Most people, I think, don't want to feel like they're beta testing when they're driving a motor vehicle. They just want things to fucking work. But these people see it differently. And for Elon's most die-hard fans, even a car that is plagued with issues is no reason to ditch the brand. It's simply an opportunity to get their space daddy's attention by any means necessary. Which brings us to the Tesla hunger strike.
Yeah, it turns out that when tweeting at Elon Musk simply isn't enough, it's time to move to the kinds of desperate measures usually reserved for human rights protesters. On August 27th, Twitter user Erland Mork, is that a play on Elon Musk for some reason?
No, it's just Norwegian.
Okay. That person posted the following. Hashtag Tesla hunger strike in Tesla country, #1 Norway, 27 August 2022, at Elon Musk. Norwegian Tesla owners are suffering. Along with attached images showing an aerial shot of 17 Teslas in a parking lot arranged to form the word help, along with a picture of a banner saying Tesla Hunger Strike 2022 and the URL teslahungerstrike.com. So let's take a look at that website.
Tesla hunger strike. Elon Musk, please help us. Why hunger strike? Norway has the most Teslas per capita in the world, but a lot of customers are not happy. Norway is by far the #1 Tesla country in the world. We are the canary in the coal mine. Help us get in touch with Elon. We are a group of dissatisfied Norwegian Tesla owners. We believe that if Elon Musk is made aware of our troubles, he will solve the situation. Please help us get his attention.
Go buy a Volvo, dork.
I know, but yeah.
That's Swedish, but it's in the same area.
Anyway, here's their specific complaints that they would like Elon to address, some of which seem specific to Norway's cold climate.
Mm-hmm. The car won't start in cold weather. Door handles won't open in cold weather. Intense squeaking noise. Car won't start in warm weather.
What weather will it start
in? Bubbles in seats. Loose front seat. Trunk lid filled with rainwater. Autopilot does not work properly. Internet is slow and does not work as it ought to. The wipers do not work well enough. The car creaks when you pass speed bumps and other bumps in the road. Decorative moldings loosen. The lights do not work properly. The doors stop working properly. Doors that open by themselves. The computer does not work. Yellow edges around the display screens. Windows that do not close completely. Systems reset on their own. Problems charging. Reduced power. Rust problems on new cars, especially Model 3. Poor paint quality means that the car has to be repainted. You were promised free charging throughout the car's lifetime, but the new charging stations do not fit the car. Lower battery life than Tesla claims. Problems with the air conditioner. Not all problems are solved when the car is serviced. Tesla promised to contact you, but you do not hear from them. You have to wait on the phone for a long time before Tesla answers. And this is one of the funnier things too, is like, you see a lot of complaints from owners that are like, there has never been a car that has exemplified being designed in Southern California more than these cars. Because Southern California has, you know, obviously we're in a heat wave now, but essentially like perfect weather for like 90% of the year.
Maybe 10 days out of the year.
They are not built for rain. They are not built for snow or icy weather. It's like, it's so funny. It's just like, this is such a region specific car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that
we failed to consider that people live in cold places.
Not just with Tesla, but with all electric batteries going forward, unless they fixed it or something. But I believe it's cold weather where it does have reduced capacity or performance.
So temperature has an effect.
If you're fucking living in Norway, it's like you can't, in good faith, sell it as the same miles per gallon or whatever that you are doing in America or somewhere else like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like an internal combustion car where you just go in your garage 10 minutes before you're going to leave and you turn it on and let it
Make sure the garage is open, by the way.
No, shut the door and all the windows and run a hose.
These Tesla drivers can't even, unalive themselves when they get so frustrated.
I've been sitting in this garage with my Tesla running for 4 hours, and I still breathe great.
I even turned on the car's campfire, and yet I am still not burning alive.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a long list of complaints, and it seems enough serious problems on that list. I don't know. I would simply sell my car and replace it with something better. Maybe from a Norwegian or Scandinavian car company who designs cars for the place you live in. But these are Tesla fans, so hunger strike it is, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And they don't provide any real details on the hunger strike itself, which is a bit odd considering how extreme a hunger strike is. I mean, perhaps most famously, 10 Irish Republicans literally starved themselves to death while on hunger strike in 1981 during the Troubles. It's not something to be taken lightly. You literally have to be willing to die a very unpleasant death for your cause. And the cause in this case is, my car doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. Which is annoying, but do you want to die?
But have you tried the fart honk? Because that's going to make you feel a lot better. You're going to be laughing.
You can play Angry Birds on the little TV.
But not while you're driving. The damn government clamped down on us.
Kamala Harris won't let me play Angry Birds. So I don't know. How is that hunger strike going? Well, here's the drive.
Earlier this week, we reported that a group of Norwegian Tesla owners was planning a hunger strike to protest defects in their cars. In doing so, they hope to get the attention of Elon Musk himself. The strike is already over, and I don't think they made much progress because it lasted just 24 hours. What's more, 16 of the 20 participants couldn't make it a full day without a snack. This is according to an email the group sent to The Drive, in which they also provided more details on the so-called strike.
Yeah, it turns out we didn't consider, much like Elon didn't consider cold weather, we did not consider how hungry we would feel after just a day of not eating. This sucks.
Yeah.
You telling me Gandhi did this shit?
He didn't die of the elements, though, so the car must be working.
It continues. Not to play backseat driver to a hunger strike, but I'm pretty sure 24 hours without eating is barely a hunger strike.
That's a fast.
Mahatma Gandhi, who repeatedly went on hunger strikes throughout his life to protest British colonial rule of India, has an entire Wikipedia page devoted solely to his fasting. The longest period was 21 days, if you're curious. In the 1981 Irish hunger strike, 10 strikers died between the 59th and 73rd days of their strikes, and they changed the entire political future of Ireland with their deaths. To call a single day without a meal a hunger strike over quality control issues, with a car famous for quality control issues no less, is a bit insulting to everyone who's ever actually engaged in a hunger strike.
This is probably for the best. If all the multiple deaths linked to autopilot weren't enough to get Elon to do anything, starving yourself to death probably won't either. Just threaten to let the car drive itself until he fixes the problems.
He'd probably say, go
Sir, save us. Save us, sir. Elon's got bigger things to worry about, of course, like World War III, apparently.
Yeah, that's the real reason he didn't want to buy Twitter.
Yeah, don't you understand? Why would I want to own a social media platform if the world's going to end? So that brings us, obviously, to our next story, and you're probably aware that among the mega-rich, especially tech billionaires, doomsday prepping is quite popular. And since these are billionaires that we're talking about, it's not just basement bomb shelters and go bags. It's full-on doomsday compounds in remote places like New Zealand and Alaska. And, then they can just quickly jet off to these locations and be safe as sound.
Close the hatch, done. You all deal with your shit out there. I'll be sitting pretty in my vault.
Oh no, the Tesla engineers have made it so the door doesn't close all the way.
Oh, jeez. Why couldn't you just put normal handles on this fucking door? Why did they have to... God damn it!
Why does it have to be tied to an app?
So writer Douglas Rushkoff recently released a new nonfiction book about this phenomenon called Survival of the Richest, which sounds pretty damn interesting considering the level of firsthand insight that he has on the topic. Rushkoff has been one of the most prominent tech thinkers for a long time now. He even coined popular terms like viral media, digital native, and social currency. So he's someone that big tech figures like to bounce ideas off of. And this book stems from a very secretive little meeting that he attended in a remote desert location where a room full of ultra wealthy tech guys basically bounced their doomsday prepping ideas off of him to see what he thought. The Guardian recently published an excerpt from the book, and it is very fascinating and also kind of funny.
Finally, the CEO of a brokerage house explained that he had nearly completed building his own underground bunker system and asked, "How do I maintain authority over my security force after the event?" The event. That was their euphemism for the environmental collapse, social unrest, nuclear explosion, solar storm, unstoppable virus, or malicious computer hack that takes everything down? This single question occupied us for the rest of the hour. They knew armed guards would be required to protect their compounds from raiders as well as angry mobs. One had already secured a dozen Navy SEALs to make their way to his compound if he gave them the right cue. But how would he pay the guards once even his crypto was worthless? What would stop the guards from eventually choosing their own leader? The billionaires considered using special combination locks on the food supply that only they knew, or making guards wear disciplinary collars of some kind in return for their survival. Or maybe building robots to serve as guards and workers if that technology could be developed in time. With this information, it really seems like the reason Elon is building humanoid robots is to securely man his...
bunker slaves.
Yes, exactly. But I also do love the idea that they're just going straight battle royale with it. And they're like, listen, that thing around your neck, it's going to blow your fucking head off if you ever cross me.
Yeah, because that is a good point.
Mr. Pliskin, we've put a virus inside of your body that only I have the antidote for.
I mean, you're a billionaire. You hire, a crack team of warriors to protect you after the apocalypse, but like money doesn't mean anything anymore. Cryptocurrency, who cares? What's to stop them from taking over? And the answer is nothing. So
you're gonna love these bored apes I'm gonna give you guys for Christmas if you just make it that long.
Yeah, trust me. when we get this all sorted out there, I obviously will be in here not involved with sorting any of that out. Not my problem. I created the problem, but I will not be solving it. But once they solve it out there, one of these bored apes, very rare now. Most of the people who bought them, dead.
Yeah.
So, and it's on the blockchain. It's lost forever. The keys are gone.
That's the thing.
There used to be 10,000 bored apes. Now there's 100. So, pretty big deal. But, so this Rushkoff guy, he describes trying and failing to get these guys that he's talking to understand that probably the best way to ensure post-apocalyptic loyalty from their minions would just be to, treat them well right now and earn their loyalty while things are still good. But from there, he spends a lot of the piece analyzing this specific mindset of extremely wealthy and powerful people who feel like total societal collapse is coming any day now, and they would very much like to not be a part of any society when society collapses. He writes, quote, "More than anything, they have succumbed to a mindset where winning means earning enough money to insulate themselves from the damages they are creating by earning money in that way. It's as if they want to build a car that goes fast enough to escape from its own exhaust."
So later in the piece, he starts looking at various companies that are basically trying to do IRL vault tech for the rich and powerful. And interestingly, the one that seems most realistic and features a self-contained food supply chain has failed to generate any interest. Rushkoff speculates that it's because this model requires its clients to live together and cooperate, while most billionaires would prefer to go it alone, despite luxury bunkers and private islands having pretty serious inherent supply problems due to being cut off from the outside world.
Yeah, it's like an island sounds great until you need literally anything.
They're taking MREs from our troops, and putting it in their useless bunkers.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a fascinating article. I'm sure the book is fascinating, so you should check that out.
Yeah, I definitely want to read this because I've been interested in this for a while. It's so all these fucking nerds too. That's why they're all learning how to fight and they're trying to be tough guys that they haven't been in the past because they all see themselves as being the king at the end of the world. And they're all planning on being Immortan Joe.
And in the meantime, having historically horrifying track records with how they treat their employees and the planet.
Yeah, the planet, just all of the causes for any fucking global catastrophic event are things that if they all banded together today, could possibly prevent the worst effects of if they really wanted to. But no, that would be too hard. Instead, I'm going to just plan for how I become the post-apocalyptic warlord from my cave. That's more concrete and easy for me to consider than, I don't know, getting taxed more and not poisoning the planet so much.
While Greta Thunberg sailed the planet, I studied the blade.
Yeah. I studied the cave.
Yeah. So again, cool sounding book.
Yeah, I want to read it. Yeah. But back to reality now. The existential problems that society is facing aren't quite apocalyptic yet, but one sudden and recent change in technology has people debating and philosophizing about art in ways not seen in a very long time. It's only been just like a couple months since most people were even made aware of AI-generated art via dall-e Mini, aka Crayon. And there's now already multiple AI image generators producing increasingly uncanny images that a lot of people would understandably look at and assume were drawn, painted, designed, or at least photoshopped by a human being.
The results remain inconsistent at best, and even the most impressive AI-generated art still has telltale giveaways if you examine it closely. But at the rate that things are going, that might not be the case for much longer. And this has, of course, sparked quite a lot of debate between traditional artists who see their careers and skill sets being devalued, and AI artists who see the future of artistry as being really good at feeding information to an algorithm. To throw a whole lot more fuel on that fire, a real-life fine art competition recently awarded first place to an AI-generated art piece.
Oh boy.
Here's Vice.
A man came in first at the Colorado State Fair's fine art competition using an AI-generated artwork on Monday. "I won first place," a user going by Sincarnate said in a Discord post above photos of the AI-generated canvases hanging at the fair. Sincarnate's name is Jason Allen, who is president of Colorado-based tabletop gaming company Incarnate Games. According to the State Fair's website, he won in the digital art category with a work called Théâtre d'Opéra Spatial. The image, which Allen printed on canvas for submission, is gorgeous. It depicts a strange scene that looks like it could be from a space opera, and it looks like a masterfully done painting. Classical figures in a Baroque hall stare through a circular viewport into a sun-drenched and radiant landscape. But Allen did not paint Théâtre d'Opéra Spatial. AI software called Midjourney did. It used his prompts, but Allen did not wield a digital brush. This distinction has caused controversy on Twitter, where working artists and enthusiasts accused Allen of hastening the death of creative jobs.
And here's the picture, by the way. To be clear, even artists who are sympathetic to AI as a potential tool for their creative process were pretty damn annoyed that this guy apparently didn't even clarify to the judges that this was AI-generated art. There's a 100% chance whoever judged this picture did so under the impression that the actual drawing was involved in it.
Yeah.
This Allen guy, for what it's worth, does say that he thinks the art world will eventually recognize AI art as its own category, but he also seems to think he put in just as much work here as a traditional artist would have, despite that work mostly consisting of basically just fine-tuning a text prompt over several weeks.
Oh my gosh, my typing fingers are tired from doing all this art.
The one giveaway that I've seen, even with like some of the best stuff, is what's the term where like fractals? Like it kind of has like if you look closely at it, it almost seems like fractals or like connective tissue with everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, even with this one, like from 10 feet away, and you're like, that looks pretty cool. But you get up close to it and you realize like you're not really looking at anything. Mm-hmm. It's just a bunch of like, there's no detail to it. But it's done in a way, because the AI is really good at this, it's done in a way where it looks detailed from far away. Up close, there's nothing really going on there. It's just a lot of like sort of random textures and sort of lines and shapes. And but if you didn't know anything about any of this, you'd be like, oh, wow, great job. That's like really creative work there. I love, how did you do all this sort of randomization on like
Blue ribbon. There you go.
Here you go, kid.
Yeah. You get a free funnel cake.
I love my job as a judge here at the Colorado State Fair.
Where nothing goes wrong. Where we'll never be on the radar of a bunch of people online.
Just good old-fashioned art.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So this is all understandably frustrating for artists who have spent their entire lives developing and refining their art skills. First NFTs, now this. I mean, these artists just cannot catch a break, man.
Mm-hmm.
But hear us out, because there is, I think, a silver lining here. So art means different things to different people. For a lot of people, art just means pretty pictures. And AI seems pretty good at making pretty pictures. But for people who actually care about, I guess, capital A art, it's not just pretty pictures. It's a creative process. It's conceptual. It's philosophical. There's so much more going on. It's much deeper than just the colors and shapes in the image itself.
I don't know, Elliot. I'm really excited to see whatever this guy, Syntacular's art hanging in the Rijksmuseum.
It's got no soul!
Right next to a Caravaggio. Well, I mean, look. They're both real pretty.
They look real pretty. Look at that.
Yeah.
Makes me feel nice.
So what's happening right now is not actually that different from what happened around 150 years ago, though, when photography came along and artists had to re-examine exactly what the point was of what they were doing. Was art simply about rendering what the artist sees with their eyes onto canvas or paper? Because now photography did that a lot quicker and easier. Art had to find a new purpose due to changes in technology, and that's how modern art was born. So the question every artist should be asking themselves right now is, what can I create that artificial intelligence can't create? Visually, the options there are only going to keep dwindling, but real artists know that art isn't just visuals.
Yeah, I think this is going to force a lot of people who think they like art to actually think about why they like art. And yeah, it's just it took me a long time, like when you're young, like especially like the more recent, like the conceptual art stuff.
Go to a museum.
Yeah,
it's the only way to like really experience and appreciate it.
That's exactly it. Because like especially with conceptual art, like seeing it out of context by its own, you're just like, that's fucking stupid. Anyone could do that. But when you're in the actual exhibit and like reading the thought behind it and everything, you're like, oh, this is actually fucking genius.
Yeah, especially like if it's a rotating exhibit. Like, hey, this is one artist, and we have like 30 of their pieces in this room right now. So you have like a window into their soul, basically. But yeah, but nothing is going to help you appreciate art throughout history more than going to a very prominent museum and like getting close enough to see like brush strokes and intention and like understanding why like certain eras the lighting was the most impressive thing, or there's so much to enjoy about it. Go to Amsterdam. Just please, if you're going to travel internationally, and not for the reasons you're thinking, Amsterdam has one of the most incredible I mentioned it. It's like the Rijksmuseum, Van Gogh Museum. There's like a street art museum. There's a bunch of stuff.
But I bet you there's probably a closer museum with plenty of good art in it as well.
There's usually like a modern art museum in a lot of, especially college towns.
Yeah.
Yes, there's ones locally,
but
for
it's
sure.
like, I don't know. Like obviously you go on Reddit/r/art, and it's exactly the sort of shit that these fucking algorithms feed off of. There's no thought, there's no feeling behind it. It's just like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And all of this AI art, a lot of it is like, hey, that's pretty cool. But there's just nothing beyond that. It's paper thin.
It is so funny that like the Reddit, like the art subreddits are literally like, it'll be like fucking Judge Dredd sending like an emoji or something. Like it's like iPhone wallpaper. Like that's the art that's on there.
A lot of it's just like pornographic too.
Well, that too. Yeah, it's just like
it's got tits. Upvote.
Hey, I redid this anime character and made them more voluptuous. If you do want, like, first of all, I know we suggest this with like journalists, writers, and all that stuff. But same thing with artists. Find stuff that you like and follow them on Instagram. A lot of them sell prints and other things like that on Instagram. Colossal, Juxtapose, great sites.
Yeah.
Artsy is a fantastic app for following artists you like and then realizing that you'll never be able to afford anything by them.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing. Finding someone who's newer to the scene and you actually can afford it.
Yeah.
So I found a few artists that like once they get signed to like fucking Sotheby's or whatever, I'm like, well, that's even buying a print's like $200.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. Got to find someone new.
Anyways, we do have more news coming up for you, but first, this episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
Have a packed schedule this fall? HelloFresh has meals covered with a weekly selection of 30+ recipes and 70+ convenience items, all delivered to your door. HelloFresh is here to make your hectic fall weeknights a little easier and a lot more delicious. Their quick and easy meals, including 20-minute meals, low prep, and easy cleanup options, take the stress out of mealtime with time-saving, no-fuss recipes ready in a snap. And just FYI, HelloFresh also owns Green Chef, who also sponsors this show from time to time. They're both great. We love both of them, especially for the amount of options that you get between the two of them.
Yeah, of course, we're big fans of HelloFresh's quick and easy recipes, which often only require the use of one pan and can be done in as quick as 20 minutes. This week, they're offering their Hall of Fame sweet chili pork and cabbage stir fry with crispy fried onions, as well as their sesame soy beef bowls with shredded carrots, buttery rice, and sriracha mayo. Go to HelloFresh.com/Newsday16 and use code Newsday16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. Again, that is HelloFresh.com/Newsday16 with code Newsday16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts.
And this episode is sponsored by Mint Mobile. After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when you first hear that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, you might think, what's the catch? But that's just the thing. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you.
For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for the whole family. And at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month.
To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/newsday. That is mintmobile.com/newsday. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/newsday.
All right, now let's get back to the news with a big win for people who think that doxing and online harassment against marginalized and vulnerable people is bad, which is hopefully all of you watching.
I hope so.
And we've never really mentioned Kiwi Farms on the show before, but basically picture 4chan but minus any, even mildly redeeming characteristics. It's like you're diluting 4chan, 8chan, 8kun Kiwi Farms. You push people to the fringes and that's where they go.
I mean, 4chan really has proven itself to be not actually the worst thing in the world over the last couple of years.
Sure.
That's the best thing you can say about it.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be who I am today without being molded in the fires of 4chan in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I've seen it all.
Well, I mean, just through osmosis, none of us would be, because that's where
all of the memes are born.
I don't know if that's the case as much anymore, but for a good chunk of the, around circa 2010, give or take 5-6 years, that's where all the memes came from.
Yeah. Kiwi Farms would be bad enough if it was just a place where online degenerates congregate in an echo chamber of hatred, but it goes well beyond that. Kiwi Farms is basically a site specifically for targeted online harassment up to and including doxing, real-life harassment, and swatting.
So Kiwi Farms started off as a spin-off of 8chan, and it was set up specifically to troll and harass Chris Chan, a person with a long and complicated and fucked up history that we are absolutely not going to get into. But over the years, its targets have included various other people who usually fall into the categories of neurodivergent and/or LGBT. Coordinated and sustained harassment from Kiwi Farms users has driven multiple targets to suicide, which is something that many Kiwi Farms users openly consider a goal of their harassment campaigns. It's pretty fucking evil.
Now, Kiwi Farms' main target for the past year or so has been a Twitch streamer and trans activist Clara Sorrenti, aka Keffels, who they've doxed, swatted, and false flagged on various platforms. Keffels decided to leave home and stay at a hotel for her own safety, and after posting a picture of her cat on a bed, the freaks at Kiwi Farms were able to figure out exactly which hotel she was at just based on the type of sheets and ordered dozens of pizzas to her hotel room. She then left Canada to stay with a friend in Belfast, and Kiwi Farms quickly figured out where she was and continued the harassment, including IRL harassment from users taking pictures outside the apartment building she was staying at.
God.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. Anyway, unlike most of Kiwi Farms' other targets, Keffels actually has a pretty large online fan base supporting her. So she decided that rather than deal with this shit forever, I guess, she was going to try to use her clout to get Kiwi Farms taken down. And a lot of people understandably thought that this was a pipe dream.
Or dangerous.
Considering how difficult it has been to take on other similar hate sites like the Daily Stormer and 8chan. But Keffels started a pressure campaign against various third-party services that Kiwi Farms depends on to actually run properly, basically telling them that the blood of whoever Kiwi Farms kills next is on their hands. And that has seemed to actually work quite well. Here's Engadget.
The days where Kiwi Farms is a functioning website appear to be numbered. After Cloudflare cut the forum off over the weekend, other essential internet services, including HCAPTCHA, followed suit. Kiwi Farms briefly moved to a Russian domain and DDoS guard on Sunday, but as of Tuesday morning, visiting the website returns an error page that says it can't load. Quote, "This meme about Russia being a free country is a joke," Kiwi Farms founder Joshua Moon wrote on Telegram, adding that he could not see a future where the website would be able to operate normally. Moon's post references 8chan and Daily Stormer, two websites that, while they continue to exist, are essentially inaccessible after public efforts to deplatform were successful. And this is like, of all the things where, with the sanctions and everything with Russia, you would assume that they would be like, sure! A US-based service, and we could profit off of
oh,
this?
what is it?
No. Not even Russia, in the midst of a war, wants anything to do with it.
I think they finally, they're like semi back online. They got the server company that hosts whatever the current version of 8chan is to host them, but it's like just the most rickety fucking like.
Well, it'll always be whack-a-mole, just like Daily Stormer.
But
and
it's
stuff.
like this thing will like go offline if like 10 people are using it at once. So yeah, Kiwi Farms has also interestingly been banned from the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine, though the archives are still accessible to law enforcement and researchers because there's a lot of evidence in there. So hopefully, hopefully that helps. I don't know. It's not completely gone. It probably will never be, but keeping the site online and accessing it at all is now way more difficult. And hopefully all this media attention has, I don't know, made the FBI and all of its international counterparts a little bit more aware of what a criminal cesspool Kiwi Farms actually is. So maybe they might be a great place to start looking for whatever freaks.
I did see Keffels made an interesting proposition, and it's one that has actually already worked before.
Oh yeah, to buy
and then turn it into a mental health awareness or anti-bullying website. That is the exact thing that happened to Is Anyone Up?
Yeah,
it's like
the Trevor Moore site.
It was a revenge porn website. There's a documentary on Netflix about it. Now. I haven't seen it yet, but
it's too long, but it's good.
Yeah, basically that's what happened to that site. Is once it was completely pummeled into the earth, it became a resource for the opposite of what it originally.
Gave you a tree fitty for it.
Yeah, and then you turn it into a place where people can find resources for stuff
It'll
like
be
that.
interesting. I mean, the fight's definitely not over. A lot of people are criticizing Keffels for maybe celebrating prematurely. But it seems like things are going in a good direction. Like, it's just like, Kiwi Farms is absolutely fucking irredeemable. Nothing of value is being lost by this thing fucking vanishing from the internet. And it's actually good to hold services accountable for who they accept money from. That's capitalism, baby. Yeah, that is capitalism. You don't like it? Well, why don't you move to North Korea, buddy? Anyway, R.I.P. Bozo to probably the worst website on the internet. Rest in piss. Go fuck yourself. Die.
Anyways, there was also, big Apple event today in more traditional TechNewsDay form. There was an Apple event today, and honestly, as a reformed Apple fanboy, I honestly can't tell you if there's anything to actually be excited about outside of the SOS satellite capabilities.
So that's cool. Yeah, if you find yourself out of service range, lost, you're probably going to die, probably going to get eaten by a bear.
No longer.
There's a way to aim your phone at the sky and it'll shoot you have to go through basically a form, and it creates a message that it either beams directly to local emergency services, or if there's none available, it sends it to Apple, who then actually calls them. So that's really cool.
The thing is, so it pulls up on your phone and it will, like a GPS or an AirPod, guide you to where the satellite currently is. And you have to point it at it, and it reduces the size of your text messages because even using satellites, it's really hard to send data.
Yeah.
So it can only send a small amount of data. So after sending like an SOS, it has that questionnaire to kind of give you time, so that it can keep sending things even though you're just indicating more information for them. It's honestly amazing. That alongside the crash detection stuff is
it can tell when you're driving, and it can tell when you've been in a terrible car accident. It immediately calls 911, and also if you have your basically your emergency contact set up, it'll call your husband or your wife, whatever.
As Apple describes, it's things that you hopefully never have to use. But with the crash detection, I wear a Apple Watch when I mountain bike for that exact reason. If I have my heart rate skyrockets or goes to zero, it will call the police or my wife. Same with a crash. If I crash hard enough to make it think that I'm in a car accident, basically, it'll alert people.
Hello, Dana. Ricky has broken his watch. You better buy him a new one right now.
We are ordering a watch. It will be there before he gets home.
Speaking of watches, they have this new Apple Watch Ultra, which absolutely not something I would ever want or need for myself, but it is actually pretty fucking cool. It is. I think it's $1,000, but this thing goes 100 feet underwater. It's waterproof to 100 feet. It's basically indestructible.
Well, they have a whole scuba diving mode, for professional scuba divers.
There's a mountain climbing mode. There's it has a feature where if you do a lot of off-trail hiking, and you get lost, it will
breadcrumb.
It will guide you back to like.
You can mark your tent. You can mark your car. You can mark a certain
because it uses the new band of GPS that's like way more accurate, like accurate to an inch. So it can and it's also like if you're a runner, it knows like exactly where you are at any given point, so you can like
you can ghost race,
keep track. Yeah, you can ghost race yourself like in a fucking video game.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, these are all things that
like not something I would ever want or need, but I'm glad for the people who do want or need it.
It's the same thing with the new phone. It's like it's a slight evolution on the one before it. It's not. If you have a 13, you really don't need the 14.
Now you can leave.
7,
now you can leave the display on all day long because this is actually pretty cool.
I like the dynamic, or what do they call it? The dynamic landing.
Oh, that's
where it's like the pill.
It's just to hide the camera, but you can leave the lock screen on all day long because it just switches to like a 1 frame per second refresh rate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's using like way less power.
Yeah, because it doesn't need to do
anything.
It's
still just like I would probably just not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. No idea.
Anyway,
I do like that they go up to a terabyte worth of storage now, even though it's not necessarily needed. Yeah. It is fucking annoying. Like when I'm like, oh, I took this picture like 2 months ago, and it's like I have to download it.
Yeah.
That's kind of annoying. But who am I to complain? Life's pretty easy.
It is. Yeah. It is pretty easy.
But some cool stuff. We got the Google thing coming in October, so it'll be interesting to see. What are they on number 7 now?
I have the 6, so yes.
Yeah.
The 7. Although the Google like staggers the releases in a weird way, so we'll see, I guess.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So look forward to that. And I think finally we're going to talk about Don't Worry, Darling. But we're going to save that for News Dump.
Woo!
I'm a little excited.
I think he spit on him.
Did you see the one where he tosses a goat on him?
No.
There's like an account that just like adds goats to everything, and it's like it looks really good though. Like he's just like, "Fuck you, Chris Pine," just dumps a goat on him.
All right. Well,
I do love the meme of him listening with the earphones.
You've got that to look forward to.
I'm just here so I get paid.
Don't Worry, Darling, coming up soon. See you soon. Bye-bye.
If you haven't already, please watch our most recent episode where Mark Zuckerberg will kick your ass.
He's an alpha male now.
Yeah, and if you're not scared of Mark Zuckerberg, maybe you're scared of big ships getting caught in the Suez Canal. Check both of those videos out, subscribe to the channel, leave a like and a comment, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.